Myanmar's military government has declared a temporary ceasefire as the death toll from last week's devastating earthquake rises to nearly 2,900. It comes as international groups call for greater safety guarantees for humanitarian workers after a Red Cross convoy was shot at. The military junta seized control of the country and ousted the elected government in a coup in 2021. Our East Asia correspondent Kathleen Calderwood has more.
The UN and human rights groups, as well as some of the armed rebel groups and the National Unity Government, which represents the ousted Burmese civilian administration, have been calling for a pause in hostilities ever since the earthquake hit last Friday. So this announcement of a temporary ceasefire, according to Burmese state media, which will run until the 22nd of April, is significant. There have been accusations that the junta has continued airstrikes since the earthquake hit, and now the junta itself has confirmed that its soldiers fired warning shots at a convoy of vehicles from the Chinese Red Cross. Now, the junta says it will investigate that incident, but of course it's been roundly condemned by the international community. The International Committee on the Red Cross has called it unacceptable, saying that humanitarian workers must be guaranteed safe passage because not only do incidents like this put them in danger, it also prevents them from providing that desperately needed assistance to those most in need. But of course, this all just highlights what an incredibly complex and difficult situation aid workers and rescuers have to face in Myanmar. It is a country that was already deep in crisis, and this earthquake has only served to exacerbate a situation that was already desperate. Aid workers are starting to get in, but getting into some of the worst hit areas like Sagaing, for example, it's already incredibly difficult and dangerous even before the earthquake occurred. Sagaing is home to a third of Myanmar's 3.5 million internally displaced people. Now that aid groups are getting in, they're reporting that hospitals are overrun with people needing medical treatment, that thousands of buildings have been damaged or have collapsed, and that there are children and families sleeping outside because they are too afraid due to the aftershocks to sleep in their homes. There have been some miraculous stories as well, including a man being pulled from the rubble in Naypyidaw after being trapped for more than 100 hours. Now, here in Thailand, the recovery efforts are continuing at the site of this collapsed high-rise. The 72-hour window during which time the chances of survival are higher has well and truly passed, but authorities here aren't giving up hope. They say they've identified some areas that they are prioritising near the emergency fire stairwells because they believe that if people were able to get into those stairwells as the building was collapsing, they might be able to survive for some time.
That's our East Asia correspondent Kathleen Calderwood, and a reminder that the ABC is working in partnership with the Emergency Action Alliance to help those affected. You can support organisations on the ground in the affected region by visiting that website. It is abc.net.au/gives, and your donation will help provide food, water, shelter and medical assistance to people affected by the earthquake.